It started with a text, short, demanding, entitled. "We're moving in with Mom and Dad for a while. Hope you're free this weekend to help with the kids. We need a break." I stared at the message, the words like rust, familiar, corrosive. Lily. Always assuming I'd pick up the pieces. I didn't respond, not right away, because deep down I already knew what would happen next. Lily and I used to be close, inseparable even. Growing up, I was the quiet one, the fixer. She was the whirlwind. She'd mess things up, I'd clean them. She'd cry, I'd comfort. It was the rhythm of our childhood, until adulthood turned it into something uglier. When Mom got sick years ago, I was the one paying the bills, the mortgage, the utilities. I kept the lights on in that house, even after Lily drifted in and out of jobs, relationships, responsibilities. It didn't bother me then. Family meant obligation. At least that's what I'd been taught. Until obligation turned into expectation. The day they moved in, I drove by my parents' house after work. Lily's SUV was parked across the lawn. Her husband, Josh, was unloading boxes. The sound of their kids screaming carried through the open door. When I walked in, Mom was setting the table for 6. Dad was smiling like a hostage. "Perfect timing," Lily chirped. "You can take the kids tomorrow while we unpack. Maybe keep them overnight? We really need some time to breathe." I smiled, slowly. No. Her face cracked, just a little. Mom frowned. "You don't mean that, honey. They've had a hard time lately." I looked around, the mess, the noise, the tension settling into every corner of my parents' house. "I mean exactly that," I said. "Their kids, their responsibility." You could have heard the air leave the room. By the next morning, my phone was flooded. Messages from Mom, from Lily, from Dad, each one sharper than the last. How selfish I'd become, how family should help family, how ungrateful I was, considering all my parents had done for me. Done for me? I'd been paying their bills for 3 years, quietly, without a word. That's when it hit me. I'd built their comfort, and they'd built their entitlement. So I decided to end it. I moved out that week, packed what was mine, closed the accounts that funneled into their mortgage, their electricity, their internet. I didn't tell them. I just redirected everything into my own new place, a small apartment with silence that hummed like freedom. The first call came from Mom. "The power's out," she said, annoyed. "Can you call the company?" "No," I said. "It's under your name now." Then came Dad. "The insurance bounced. We're going to lose coverage." "I transferred it to you months ago," I replied calmly. "Check your mail." And finally Lily, screaming into the phone. "What the hell is wrong with you? We have kids." "You should have thought of them," I said, "before moving into a house you can't afford and expecting others to raise them." Then I hung up. The weeks that followed were peaceful. I didn't visit, I didn't check in, but I watched, quietly. The neighborhood group chat was how I found out first. Complaints about the noise, the mess, the arguments spilling onto the porch. By month's end, the bank notices started stacking. Without my payments, my parents' mortgage fell behind. The utilities too. Lily panicked. She tried calling me again, this time soft, apologetic, rehearsed. "Look, we overreacted," she said. "You know how family gets sometimes. Maybe we can talk?" I let her speak. Then I asked, "Did you ever apologize for calling me selfish?" Silence. "Did you ever once thank me for paying those bills?" Silence again. "That's what I thought," I said. "You just assumed the money came from nowhere, like everything else in your life." Her voice broke. "You're really going to do this? To Mom and Dad?" I didn't flinch. "No, Lily, you did this. The moment you turned them against me to get free babysitting and a free roof." I hung up. 2 months later, the house was on the market. Mom called, crying, saying they couldn't keep up. Lily and her husband had moved into a rental, far smaller, far quieter. They finally learned what life costs when someone stops cushioning it. And for the first time, they started paying their own way. I still visit sometimes, not out of guilt, just curiosity. The house feels smaller now, colder, but honest. Mom tries to smile when she sees me. Dad looks relieved, though he won't say it. Lily barely meets my eyes. She knows what I did. She knows I didn't do it out of anger. I did it because silence was the only language they'd never learned to fear. And when people stop listening to your words, you teach them with your absence. Now, when I pay my own bills, I do it with peace, not pity. And when family calls asking for favors, I just smile, because I've learned something Lily never will. Sometimes the most powerful kind of revenge is simply stopping the rescue.